Hey, hey, hey. It's your girl, Sherri Summer Bell. Listen, I really want to dive right into what we're talking about today. I want to know, how do we stop worrying? Worrying. Yeah, you hear me right. How do we stop worrying? I want to cover that today. If you're first time joining me, it's your girl, Sherri Summer Bell. And one of the things that I have been doing is creating series for ambitious women in insurance, finance, business women who are growing a profitable business, but sometimes our thoughts and always worrying about things get in the way. And I have been creating a series that to help you remain the ambitious woman that you are without the worry. So today we're going to talk about three key components to help us to stop worrying. And I have to give credit when credit is due, because I was listening to this at my church. My pastor was covering this ceremony about why do we worry. And it was so fascinating that I had to bring it to my YouTube community and share it with you and add it to our Ambitious Women in the Insurance and Finance series, because I believe that when you hear these three things that I'm getting ready to tell you, it's going to change a whole dynamic of how you think about worrying to help you to stop worrying today. Yes, I said it today. As a mother, I mean, we just literally, I don't know when you're going to be hearing this, but we just literally recorded this the day after Mother's Day. So, as a mom, my son just wrapped up soccer, and I was telling one of the soccer moms out there, I said, listen to me, coming to these soccer games, it gives me a heart attack. Like my emotions go up, my emotions go down whenever the ball is coming to our goal and the kids are rushing for the ball, and I'm just like having a heart attack that the ball is going to go in and the opponent team is going to win. And that in itself is just giving me high blood pressure. So, so there's different forms of worrying about how long will you stay in business? Will your business ever be profitable? Do you always have to burn the night oil? Will you ever be able to leave this job so you can create your purpose and walk in your purpose? Will you ever get help? Do you get the support that you need? All of that different things are different components as what we mom, ambitious woman, grandma, sister, whatever you are in your respectable place, worry about. So I want to help you to not worry anymore. So I want to go over some amazing things that I learned. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I was writing my butt off because I was like, man, he touched on some things. And the number one thing I want you to do is to grab your notebook, because when I tell you these things, it's going to blow your mind. So, the three reasons why we should not worry, and I'm just going to go dive right into it as well. And as I go here, I want you to really reflect. This is not a video that you just listen to. You have to go back and listen to this like over and over again, because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be profound. So let's get straight into it, baby. Let's not waste any time. Three reasons why we should not worry, right? Because we all waiting. Number one, worrying is unnatural. I want you to write that down. Worrying is unnatural. And we know that already. Sherri, that's so cliche. We know that it's not natural for us to worry. But let me ask you a question. Did you know that only, we are God's only creature that worry? Did you know that? We are God's only creature. Now God made the birds, the animals, humans. And when you look at all the things that God has created that has life in it, we are the only creature that worry. I don't understand why is that. I want you to just kind of that right there when he said it, just, boom, it just blew me away. We are only God's creature that worry. So that alone is an example that is not God's intention for us to worry. It's not his intention. Um, Nature doesn't worry. The birds, the trees, the fish. I don't hear or know of the fish saying, how am I going to pay this light bill next month? How am I going to pay this rent next month? How am I going to, go to my next level next month? It's not worrying by human beings. It's not for us to worry. The nature, as in the trees, the birds, everything that God has created, don't ever worry about where the next meal is coming from. Don't get me wrong, nature does have what we call a fight or flight. Like if they get trapped in something and they're shivering and they're wanting to get out, you go fishing and you get trapped the fish in the net and they're like, oh my God, I want to get out. I don't want to be somebody's dinner. That's more of a fight or flight. I'm not talking about that, right? Because that's worrying in the immediate, right? That's worrying in the immediate number. That's different from worrying, having that panic attack and anxiety about the future. Their flight or fight is what's happening this second now. So totally different. So nature has a fight or flight response when it is trapped. Then worrying, to me, in my opinion, if creatures and God creators are creations are not worried, and we're the human being are the only one that take on this worrying nature, that tell me, could worrying be a sin then? Because when worrying becomes this what we call sinful nature based on the idea that if God already tell us that he's going to take care of everything and we're still worrying, the idea of why we're worrying, why it's unnatural, is because we don't trust him. Is because we don't trust him. And we got to be honest with ourselves and say, we don't trust him. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. Like, are you saying to me that I say I love God, but I don't trust what he says? Yes, that's what I'm saying to you. Because how can we walk with somebody and say we love and we trust the person, but we're still worried, right? So the root of worrying, in my opinion, is not trusting God. So when I talk about worry, you can have two types, right? Is you can have the stress, right? And then you can have stress and you can have worry. I can say for myself, I don't know about you, and tell me if this is you. I have more worry than stress. See, stress is in the body and worry is in the mind. Stress is in a body, which is why when people start being stressful, it causes diseases, it's caused physical health issues, internal health issues, because it's a physical thing. Stress becomes a physical thing. So when we face challenges, everyone hosts are weird challenges in different way. And for me, in my opinion, I think we've for me, my way of dealing with worry, because I'm still going through my own pattern of worriness, I don't really have stress. I have more worry, right? And which is a good thing. So if you're going to worry or stress, I choose worry every day. But but how about we choose none? How about that? But stress is where you're now having all this thing up on you, where you're going to get blood work done because you don't know what's going on with your body, and you put your body in these thoughts that you're so worried that it becomes so stressful that the byproduct of that stress is you physically attacking your body. Your mind went to physically attack your body because you are worried so much that it turns into stress upon you. That's scary. That is so scary. So stress is experienced physically and worry is experienced emotionally. Write that down for your notes. So worry makes you is unhealthy. That's number 2. Worrying is unhelpful and it's unhealthy, right? Worrying about something, it's there's no way of helping by being worried about it. So that's why even when my clients, my staff, someone come with me with a worry that they have, a challenge that they have, I spend more time spending time figuring out the strategy or the principle behind solving that issue that they may be worried about, opposed to me sitting here worrying about the issue itself. You can't change the issue. And my mom hate when I say that. I'm like, all right, it's no good for us to sit here and worry about it. How can we fix it? How can we change it? I am a solution-based person. That's who I am. I'm a solution-based person. So I go straight to what is the solution, or what is the mindset that I need to adapt in this situation to get me through. Not under it, not over it, but get me through this situation. What is the lesson I'm learning? Because I don't want to avoid the lesson. So worrying is not helpful. So I have to change to a more healthier mind to figure out what it takes, because worrying is so unhelpful. Worry can bring extra days in your life that you have to keep carrying that weight. And you have to keep carrying that weight. And when you start carrying the weight of worry, it becomes something that doesn't feel right. So what good is it for me to worry about something that I can't control, right? So I like to use my time, I like to use my mind on solving the matter. How about you? I want you to comment below how you use your time on solving a matter that you may become worried about. And I want to point something out. I know I'm not really want to take you to church here, but I want to talk about Matthew 6 and 27. Matthew 6. And I want to go to the 27th verse, because I believe when you stress and worry come up on you, it's important to go back to the word. And it say, even if you're always worried about life, you cannot make it as much as 1 hour longer. Now, I'm using the easy version. Let me change the easy version to another version. Let me change that version, because I want you to get the understand that worrying, and in this version it says, and whose of you by worrying can add 1 hour to your life. That's what it says, can add 1 hour to your life. It doesn't. So me sitting here worrying is not going to add anything to my life. So knowing this, I need to figure out I need to figure out solutions. I don't need to sit here and worry. And that's what the Bible says in Matthew. And in John 16, I'm going to go to John 16, because in John 16 it also talks about, and again, you can write all of this down. It also talks about being able, in the world we are going to have trouble, right? And there's no way around that a little while you will longer me again while you're here. In the world we're going to have trouble, but do not dismay, because God has came to cast all, not something, all your fears on him, right? So in John 16, let me make sure that I'm right before. John 16 and 33. Let's go there. And I'm giving you Bible verses to back up why you should not worry. John 16 and 33 said, I have told you these things so that in me you may have perfect peace. I have told you these things so in me you may have perfect peace. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye may have peace, no matter how you turn it. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be good cheers. I have overcome the world. So listening and leaning to those understanding in the Bible, it has already told me that the world, you're going to have challenges, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But understand that as in God have overcame the world. So in me, you're going to have perfect peace. Now, when people hear perfect peace, they're thinking nothing is going to go wrong. Everything is going to go great. But perfect peace, for me, in my definition, it means being like like an insulator. Like my son has a Yeti, a Yeti cup, or a Yeti cup that he used for soccer. And I love it so much. The water in there stays cold, it's insulated. So outside on the soccer field, though it's hot. We're in Florida. It's 95 degrees or whatever it may be, 100 degrees. But regardless of what, the water that's inside of his insulated bottle that he uses, water bottle for soccer, remains cold for hours, regardless of how the outside temperature is. So for me, I want to reflect, I want to model that behavior in my life. Is regardless of what the happen in the world, what the news, what the media say, I'm not gonna cast my eyes on that. I'm gonna be like this water that's in this insulated thing that nothing can get in to affect what I already know and believe based on what the word says. And that's where I believe the peace come from. Are you going to cry when things happen? Yes, that's washing off the body. I think tears is cleansing. So having crying or having tears of something, there's nothing wrong with that. It's cleansing. My son tried out for the soccer comp, and he didn't make the team that he wanted to make based on the position he plays. And he was quite upset, and he had tears because we got in there under the false notion, and when we found out what it was all about, he had tears of sadness. And then 2 hours later, it was like I didn't just told him that he didn't make the team. He was excited, gone with his friends, went and uh, played and would jump in the pool. And I said to myself, this boy is resilient. Like, he's so resilient to hearing news that he's not happy with, but he didn't let that affect his emotion. He had the tears, then got out. Matter of fact, he got out, then played soccer the next day. And we signed him up for another soccer league, and boom, he was in. Right? So that's what I mean. That's the peace that I believe surpasses all understanding. Is being able to master that. That's the stretch of where I want to be. To still remain still, even in storm. So worrying is unhelpful. Worrying is unnatural. It's a sinful nature based on the idea of not trusting God. So I always want to trust him. I always want to lean to his understanding. I understand by according to Matthew, worrying is not going to add anything else days to my life, because God has overcome the world, right? And it goes back to knowing that serenity prayer. I know I'm for time purposes, I don't have time to get into it, but go having that serenity prayer. I think saying that prayer every day is just a beautiful thing to remember, that we can only work on the things that we can work on. And last thing, as I end out here, worrying is unnecessary. So the 3 reasons why we should not worry is unnecessary. What do I mean by worry is unnecessary? God already knows our need. Ooh, hold up. God already knows our need. Wow. So if you're telling me God already know our need, worrying is unnecessary. So if God already know our needs, in the Philippians, it says 4:19, but my God shall supply all your needs according to the riches in glory by Jesus Christ. Philippians 4:19, but my God shall supply all my needs, not some, not maybe, not a little bit, this or that, but no, all. I don't know how better definition you can get by saying the word all your needs. So that alone is why worrying is unnecessary. God already knows our needs before we even know our needs. So when you're in the shower and the idea of you starting that business, or the idea comes to you of how you want to shift your business to a higher level, and God already knew, gave you that idea, gave you the resources for that idea. But guess what? Right when you think about all the deliverables that has to be done to manifest the thing that you say you want, you started freaking out. You started worrying. But do you understand that everything that to execute that thing that you need, God is already going to put in store for you? He already knows that you needed that landing page. He already know that you needed that CRM. He already know that you needed that new client. He already know that you needed that marketing, that video. He already know you needed that phone to do the video marketing, whatever it may be. God already knew that. He already knows that. So he knows that so well because he knows your future. And one of the things that one of my pastor talk about, and I got to give him credit to that, and he says anxiety. Oh, this is so good. Write this down. Write this down because I didn't want to miss this notes. Anxiety live in the future. Depression lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. Depression lives in the past. So if anxiety of something on the unknown, you're upset, you're worried about what it's going to look like, right? If that anxiety lives in the future, you're worried about something that hasn't even happened yet. How crazy is that? And then depression lives in the past. You're depressed about your childhood or something that has happened in the past. If you're depressed about that, but yet you're in the present, do you know who can shift the anxiety and make the outcome be favorable to you? Do you know who can do that? Because you're in the present. Who has control of the future to shift the anxiety? You do, based on your thoughts and the action that you take, based on the energy that you put out in the world. Shift the anxiety of the future. You can literally eliminate that anxiety by making sure you do everything that you know how to do. Right? Depression. Okay, Sherri, but I can't change the past. I can't change what happened to me. No, you can't, and you shouldn't want to. Listen to me very well. You shouldn't want to change your past because the past of what happened to you is that experience is what will get you to the next level, to get you to a higher way of thinking. Because your story, your thing that you went through is a key to unlock somebody else's jail. So sharing that story of how you overcame that and letting others know so you don't want to overcome that depression. It's not for you. It's for you to take the lessons that were learned in that situation and bring forth in the front era. So anybody that's currently in that depression knows what you did to overcome it. What did I do to overcome a 430 credit score? What did I do to overcome to being a single mom? What did I overdo when I left my $42,000 job? What did I do to overcome the things that was going on in my life? You know what I did? These things right here. I stopped worrying. I started seeking God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all things. Because Maslow law has as long as your needs need to be met, which is food, shelter, clothing, all of those Maslow's laws, right? Those are all the needs. Everything else is extra. Anything after those needs is extra, right? You want that car? Okay, that's a car is an option, right? A house is not an option because guess what? It's shelter. So Maslow's law said these are the things we need. But I just say, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things shall be added on you. So, and I didn't want this to be a spiritual church service. I want to make sure that we're clear there. But when you seek him, that's going back to the foundation. That's going back to the foundation. Going back to the foundation is to know that we should believe, even though sometimes it's hard. And so here's what, and I'm going to end here, what I try to do. Something may come up on me that worries me. I acknowledge it because I don't want to put it to the side. I acknowledge it. I play the different scenarios in my head. And then I go to the most favorable scenario that I want. Then I go to the most favorable scenario that I want. And let's say the scenario don't turn out to be what I want. That's evidence that God has something bigger. Every time I don't get exactly what I want, even in the pain of that, the thing is, I already know the outcome. If someone says something to me about my business, my brand, or something, that I already know the outcome. That same person next week, next year, next month is going to be the same person that's asking me for help or retracting what they say, which I thank God I didn't have that much. I've never really been through that. But you get the idea. You already know the outcome. You already know the results. You already know the outcome. So you can rejoice in the stress, in the anxiety, because you know all things work out for your good. In the end, with they that believe and trust him. In the all things work out. I don't have time to. That may have to be another series because we got to end here. But all things, because I know all things work out. Man, I did host that masterclass, but not a lot of people show up. I'm going to stop? No, because I know that all things it's going to work out for me if I keep going. I'm going to get better presentation. I'm going to get better communicating. I'm going to get better. So I'm going to because all things is going to work out for me. Not what's presently here, but my futuristic thing. So I don't have to have anxiety for the future because I know I can use my now to shift my future. And the reason why I can use my now, don't miss this, to shift my future is because I already know what the future holds for me. All things work out for my good. And if we can believe that in moments of our depression, in the moments of our anxiety, in moments of our stress, in moments of our worry, go through the process, right? Still have the tears, still wash the mind, the soul of everything that need to be washed. But baby, when you done, when you get up, know that all things, not some, is working out for your good. So you operate in the energy of all things are working out for your good because the Bible tells you that. And you're going to stand on that. And because you know that all things work out for your good, every action that you take after those tears will lead you to your final destination of what you say you desire. Bigger, better, 10x more than what you desire. I dare you and I challenge you to try that. I challenge you that when worry come up on you, you go through and go to the end of the results saying, you know what, I'm going through this right now, but I know the outcome. I already know the outcome, and stay to the outcome in every action that you do because all things work out for your good. Thanks for tuning in. It's your girl, Sherri Summers. If you love this, I would love to hear your feedback below. Comment your feedback below so I can bring you more amazing videos just like this. Have a good one.